Imagine being denied your father's love only to become an alcoholic and die young. Or when you do get whatever warmth he can give, you find out that disapproval is swift with strict requirements to get affection. The first person is Freddie Jr., and the second is younger brother Donald Trump, the oldest two sons of an emotionally callous man named Fred C. Trump Sr. Perhaps one cannot blame Fred for being incapable of unconditional love, given that he was forced to make a living at age 14 in the cutthroat world of New York City. His own father had just died of the flu pandemic of 1918. Fred built houses to make a living and always did that with government programs that helped Americans buy houses. Fred defrauded New York housing programs, as was proven in a 1966 public meeting. And by 1973, he and Donald were caught in a Department of Justice sting for violating the Fair Housing Act. Discrimination. Is it any surprise that Donald was just like his father? And on civics.com, this place right here, I like to focus on behaviors that help make the world a better place, that lead to better outcomes for you and me and for all by improving our society with civics. Now, the first step is to acknowledge the toxic shame that seeps into our president every day. He is emotionally frozen in the 8th grade. He lies that everything is the best. And he decorates in gold and leaves his tie too long and sprays on that orange skin tan. Everything has to be perfect or beyond perfect, or the toxic shame from his long-dead father's disapproval will creep inside him. His father says that there are two types of people, killers and losers. And Donald knows that the disappointment will come if he ever is proven to be the loser. The orange spray tan looks silly because you can see the pinkish, pukish color of its own skin. The excessive gold screams small dick energy. It just does. He didn't attend the funeral of his favorite lawyer, Roy Cohn. Why? Because once the world knew that Roy Cohn had AIDS, Donald wouldn't return his phone calls anymore. His best friend of 10 years or more hung himself in prison as a convicted sex offender. And Donald won't release the files that thousands of FBI agents redacted because it will expose the fact his best friend, a sick pedophile, knew that Donald, truly in this world, had no real friends. In fact, he doesn't even have a dog. He takes pleasure in separating babies from immigrant families and in having ICE agents tackle food delivery workers to the ground because his father requires that he always be a killer. And thus he directs law enforcement to find ways to maximize the cruelty as they go about doing their jobs. The only way that he covers his psychological toxic shame is by feeding more and more cruelty into the mob that he incites. Imagine desecrating the greatest country on earth by being the first person in its history to interrupt the peaceful transfer of power and doing such a pathetic act simply because you cannot bear to live with the shame of losing. Oh wait, you don't have to imagine it.